My girlfriend said mockingly, "Stop being so needy. I'll talk to you whenever I feel like it." I simply replied, "As you wish." Then I muted her chat and tossed my phone on silent that I cut myself off from her completely. 1 week passed, then 2, then 3. Then one night, a sudden, loud knock hit my door. She was standing outside, fear written all over her face. I'm 28, work in IT consulting, and until 3 weeks ago, I thought I was in a healthy relationship. My girlfriend Danielle and I had been together for 2 years. We didn't live together, but we texted constantly, good morning messages, lunch break check-ins, good night calls. It felt normal. It felt right. Until it didn't. The problems started subtly around month 20 of our relationship. Danielle began leaving me on read for hours, sometimes entire days. When I'd mention it, she'd laugh it off. "I'm busy, babe. You know how work gets." Fair enough. I backed off. But then the pattern intensified. She'd post Instagram stories, brunches with friends, gym selfies, night outs, while ignoring my texts. She'd be active on WhatsApp, last seen updating every few minutes, but my messages would sit there with one gray check mark. I told myself I was overthinking it. She had her own life. I had mine. We were independent adults. But the nagging feeling in my gut wouldn't go away. One Thursday evening after a particularly long day debugging code for a difficult client, I sent her a simple text. "Hey, just checking in. Haven't heard from you since yesterday morning. Everything okay?" 3 hours later, she replied, "Jesus Christ, do you need a GPS tracker on me now?" I stared at my phone, confused and hurt. The message felt unnecessarily harsh. I called her immediately. She answered on the 5th ring, and I could hear music and laughter in the background. "What?" Her voice was flat, annoyed, like I'd interrupted something important. "I just wanted to make sure you're all right. You've been distant lately." She sighed dramatically, and I heard her say something muffled to someone else before coming back to the phone. "Stop being so needy. I'll talk to you whenever I feel like it. I don't owe you constant updates." The words hit me like cold water. Not because they were mean, which they were, but because of how casually she said them. Like I was some annoying subscription service she couldn't be bothered to cancel. Like 2 years of building a relationship meant nothing. I kept my voice calm, refusing to give her the satisfaction of hearing me upset. "As you wish." "Good. Finally. I'll call you when I have time." She hung up without saying goodbye. I sat there on my couch, phone in hand, processing what just happened. 2 years. 2 years of planning weekend trips to the coast, meeting each other's families at holidays, talking about moving in together next spring. And now I was needy for wanting basic communication, for wanting to know if the person I loved was okay. I opened her chat. My thumb hovered over her name. I scrolled up through our conversation history, hundreds of messages, inside jokes, heart emojis, plans for our future. Then I did something I'd never done before. I muted the conversation. Notifications off. Then I put my phone on silent and placed its screen down on my coffee table. If she wanted space, she'd get all the space in the world. The first 3 days were harder than I expected. I'd instinctively reach for my phone during my morning coffee, muscle memory wanting to send her a photo of the sunrise from my balcony. I'd catch myself thinking of funny things to send her during lunch breaks, a weird bug in my code, a meme she'd appreciate. But each time, I'd remember her voice dripping with contempt, "Stop being so needy," and I'd put the phone back down. By day 5, something shifted inside me. I started filling my time differently. I went to the gym every evening after work, something I'd been neglecting. I called my brother Tyler, who I'd been meaning to catch up with for months. We talked for 2 hours about everything and nothing. I deep cleaned my apartment, finally tackled that overflowing closet, and fixed the leaking bathroom faucet that had been dripping for weeks. I felt lighter somehow, unburdened by the constant anxiety of wondering when she'd respond, if she'd respond, whether I'd said something wrong. My phone stayed silent. Not a single message from Danielle. By the end of week 1, I checked her Instagram out of morbid curiosity. She'd posted a mirror selfie, full makeup, tight dress, looking stunning, with the caption, "Unbothered energy sparkles," and a story from a downtown bar with her friends, cocktails in hand, everyone laughing. She looked happy, relieved, even, like a weight had been lifted. I closed the app and didn't check again. Week 2 came and went in a blur. I picked up a new project at work, a complete system overhaul for a financial firm. That kept me busy until 8 p.m. most nights. The work was challenging, engaging, and left me too mentally exhausted to overthink my relationship status. My colleague Andrea noticed the change in my demeanor during a coffee break. "You seem different lately," she said, stirring her latte. "Good different. More focused." "Just focusing on myself," I said. "Relationship stuff?" I nodded, not wanting to elaborate. She smiled knowingly, like she'd been through something similar. "Sometimes the trash takes itself out. You just have to be smart enough to not bring it back in." I laughed, but her words stuck with me for days. Was that what was happening? Was Danielle showing me exactly who she was, and I was just finally paying attention? All those red flags I'd explained away, rationalized, minimized, maybe they were exactly what they appeared to be. By week 3, I genuinely stopped thinking about her. I wasn't angry anymore. I wasn't hurt. I just existed in a space where she wasn't a factor in my daily emotional state. I started reading again, something I'd abandoned during our relationship when I'd spend my evenings waiting for her texts. I finished 2 science fiction novels in 1 week, stayed up until 2 a.m. on a Tuesday because I couldn't put the second one down. I reconnected with old friends. I went to a concert with my college roommate Nathan. I tried that new Thai restaurant downtown I'd been curious about. I lived my life. On day 23, I was cooking dinner, pasta carbonara, something I'd been wanting to perfect, when my phone buzzed on the counter. I'd turned the sound back on a week prior, figuring I'd missed enough work calls to justify it. It was Tyler. "Dude, is Danielle okay?" She just sent me a weird DM asking if you're alright. I froze, wooden spoon in hand, cream sauce bubbling on the stove. "What did she say exactly?" "She asked if something happened to you. Said you haven't responded to her in weeks, and she's worried. I didn't even know you two were having issues. You didn't tell me you guys broke up. We didn't officially break up. I just stopped reaching out. And she's freaking out now? That's rich." Tyler had never been Danielle's biggest fan. He'd always thought she was too self-absorbed. "What did you tell her?" "That you're fine and she should ask you herself." "Was that wrong?" "No, that's perfect actually." I set the spoon down and opened my muted conversation with Danielle. 37 unread messages stared back at me. They started casual around day 10. "Hey, and you there?" By day 12, "Did you get my messages?" By day 15, they escalated. "Seriously, what's your problem? And this is childish, and you're acting like a child." By day 18, "I don't understand why you're being like this." By day 20, panic set in. "Why are you ignoring me? And can we please talk? And I'm getting worried." Day 22, "This isn't funny anymore." The most recent one, sent 40 minutes ago. "I'm coming over. We need to talk. This has gone on long enough." I felt nothing. No satisfaction, no anger, no anxiety, no anticipation. Just a mild curiosity about what would happen next. Like watching a TV show I was no longer invested in. I unmuted her number, just in case she called. I didn't respond to any of the messages. I went back to my pasta, adjusting the heat, and adding the egg mixture slowly so it wouldn't scramble. 20 minutes later, aggressive knocking rattled my front door. Not a polite knock, a desperate, urgent pounding that made my neighbor's dog start barking. I turned off the stove, wiped my hands on a dish towel, and walked slowly to the door. Through the peephole, I saw Danielle. Her hair was messy, pulled into a hasty bun with strands falling around her face. She wore gray sweatpants and an oversized hoodie, clothes she'd never be caught dead wearing outside the house. No makeup. Her eyes were red and puffy. She was scared. I took a breath and opened the door. "Hey." She stared at me like I was a ghost, her mouth falling open slightly. You're okay." "Yeah. Why wouldn't I be?" "You." She struggled for words, her hands gesturing helplessly. "You haven't answered me in 3 weeks." 3 weeks. I thought something happened to you. I thought you were dead or hurt, or in the hospital, or... "I'm fine," I said calmly, leaning against the doorframe. "Just been busy." Her face shifted from relief to confusion to anger in rapid succession. "Busy? You couldn't send one text? One message to let me know you were alive? You said you'd talk to me whenever you felt like it." I respected that boundary. I stopped reaching out. She stepped closer, her voice rising. "That's not... I didn't mean... You knew I didn't mean it like that." "What didn't you mean?" I kept my tone neutral, not hostile, just genuinely curious. "You seemed pretty clear on the phone. I was being needy. You'd talk to me when you felt like it. So I waited for you to feel like it." "Don't twist my words." "I'm not twisting anything. I'm literally repeating what you said to me." She ran her hands through her hair, pulling at the strands. I didn't mean for you to ignore me completely. I didn't mean for you to just disappear like I don't exist. I didn't disappear. I've been right here the whole time. You just didn't notice because I wasn't chasing you anymore. She opened her mouth, then closed it. Her eyes filled with tears. You're punishing me. This is punishment. I'm not punishing you. I'm giving you exactly what you asked for, space to talk to me whenever you feel like it. You just haven't felt like it much, I guess. That's not fair. What's not fair? I interrupted, my voice still calm but firmer now, is telling someone who cares about you that they're needy for wanting basic communication. What's not fair is making me feel like I'm asking for too much when I'm just asking for the bare minimum. A text back. Acknowledgement that I exist. She wiped her eyes roughly with her hoodie sleeve, smearing the tears across her face. I was stressed. Work was insane, and I felt suffocated by how much you wanted to talk. Then you say that. You say, hey, I need some space for a few days because work is overwhelming and I need to decompress. You don't mock me. You don't make me feel pathetic for caring. You communicate like an adult. I know, I should have. She was crying harder now. But I didn't think you'd actually go cold like this. This isn't like you. Maybe it should have been. Maybe I should have established boundaries a long time ago instead of accepting whatever scraps of attention you threw my way. Scraps? That's what you think. That's what it was, Danielle. Be honest. You talked to me when it was convenient. When you were bored. When you wanted validation or attention. But the moment I needed reassurance, I was needy. The moment I asked for consistency, I was suffocating you. She stared at me, tears streaming down her face. I didn't realize. I didn't know it felt like that for you. You didn't ask. The words landed like a slap. She flinched visibly. So that's it. Her voice broke into a whisper. We're just over? 2 years, and you're just done? I leaned against the doorframe, suddenly tired. Are we over? Because from where I'm standing, we've been over for 3 weeks. You just didn't notice because you were too busy posting about your unbothered energy. She flinched again. You saw that post. I did. And you know what? You looked happy. You looked relieved to not deal with me. So I let you have that. It wasn't about you. It was exactly about me. And that's fine. You're allowed to feel however you want. But I'm also allowed to stop being an option you pick up when you're bored or lonely or need an ego boost. She was fully crying now, mascara from yesterday tracking down her face in dark streaks. I love you. The words should have meant something. A month ago, they would have. But now they just felt empty. Maybe you do, I said quietly. But you don't respect me. And I can't be with someone who makes me feel like I'm an inconvenience. Like loving them is something I should apologize for. Please, she whispered, reaching out. Can we just talk about this? Really talk? I'll do better. I'll communicate more. I'll make you a priority. You'll do those things for a few weeks, maybe a month. Until you're comfortable again. Until you know I'm not going anywhere. Then we'll be right back here, with me wondering why you haven't texted me back and you getting annoyed that I noticed. She reached for my hand desperately. I didn't pull away, but I didn't hold hers either. Just let it rest there, limp. I'm sorry, she said, her voice cracking. I'm so sorry. I was selfish. I was taking you for granted. I know that now. I know you are. And I'm sorry too. Sorry it took me this long to realize I deserve better than someone who makes me feel bad for caring. I gently pulled my hand back and stepped away from the door. Take care of yourself, Danielle. I mean that. Wait, please. I closed the door softly but firmly. I heard her standing there for a long moment, sniffling and crying. Then shuffling footsteps. Then the sound of her retreating down the hallway, her crying fading with distance. I walked back to my kitchen. The pasta water had gone cold. I dumped it out and started fresh, this time putting on music while I cooked. Update, 2 months later. Tyler told me Danielle started dating someone new about a month after our last conversation. Some guy she met at her gym. I felt nothing hearing that news. Not jealousy, not vindication, not even curiosity. It simply confirmed what I already knew. I wasn't the problem. I was just a placeholder until something more exciting came along. I ran into her once at our mutual friend's birthday party. She tried to approach me at the bar, but I politely excused myself to get another drink and spent the rest of the night on the opposite side of the venue. She didn't try again. She left early. Work's going incredibly well. I got promoted to senior consultant with a significant raise. The project I buried myself in during those 3 weeks of silence turned into one of the company's biggest success stories. My focus had never been sharper. I've been on a few dates, nothing serious yet, but I'm not rushing anything. I'm learning what I actually want in a partner instead of just accepting whatever wants me back. I'm learning what my boundaries are and how to enforce them without guilt. My phone is no longer a source of anxiety. I check it when I feel like it. I respond when I have something meaningful to say. I've learned that silence isn't always punishment or anger. Sometimes it's just peace. Sometimes it's self-preservation. Last week, I got a long text from Danielle. An apology, an explanation, a request to talk when I'm ready. I read it once, then archived it without responding. Some conversations don't need to happen. Some apologies come too late. Some people only realize what they had when they can't have it anymore. And honestly, I've never slept better. My apartment feels like mine again. My time feels like mine. My life feels like mine. I don't hate her. I don't wish her ill. I just wish I'd respected myself enough to walk away sooner. But better late than never, I guess.